So I believe we are on the show now, right? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all the listeners. This is Max. I'm the founder and principal consultant for SCMI Group, a consulting company focused on supply chain, trade, and transport in Singapore. Today, I have the honor to have two very important guests on this show, right? Coming from Georgia International Road Carriers Association. And with me, we have Professor Nino and also Mr. Shalva, right, from GIRCA. I'd like to mention something before we pass the airtime to them to introduce themselves. I knew Professor Nino from 201617, right? And since then, because of the ADB Carrot mission, we have visited Tbilisi, and there we established contact with GIRCA. We have worked with Professor Nino, true professional in transport, logistics, supply chain management, on many corridor exercises, and recently on the Trans-Caspian International Transport Route, right? So today we are really very pleased to have the officials from GIRCA to actually describe what the GIRCA mandate is, the role in transport, trade, and transit, some of the upcoming initiatives, right? And I also believe that you are very interested to hear about the latest situation involving the Caspian Sea, the Black Sea, right? The situation in Ukraine, how it has reshaped the supply chain corridors, right? So without further ado, let me pass the time to Professor Nino, right? Professor Nino, right? Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Max. Thank you for inviting me and Shalva and for the introduction. It's an honor to me to be your guest. I have been on a position of Secretary General of the Georgian International Road Carrier Association since 2017, but the organization itself was established back in 1992. And in 1993, GIRCA joined the International Road Transport Union, IRU, as we all know about this organization. Since 1995, association has performed the function of the TIR National Guarantee Association Union of the territory of Georgia, and is authorized to issue TIR Carnets. So GIRCA now is the Guarantee Association for the TIR system in Georgia. The TIR system itself is a global transit system and is enable goods to be shipped from a country of origin to a country of destination in sealed load compartments that are controlled by custom via a multilateral, mutual recognized system. It is the easiest, fastest, and most reliable way to move goods across multiple international borders, saving time and money for transport operators and custom authority. I want to say that we unified 1,200 transport companies, out of which nearly 300 are the association active members. They are involved in international transportation of goods by road. Due to the political, geographical location of Georgia, the most shipments are multimodal, and our companies operates 16,000 trucks, and these trucks carry out international shipment, use the TIR Carnets. GIRCA serves as the voice of road transport operators in Georgia. We are dedicated to upholding their interest by finding efficient ways to contribute to trade facilitation and the development of the international road transport industry. And our association has strong and long-standing partnership with the IRU member association, in our region, in abroad, in Europe, and we are collaborate closely to enhance freight mobility in the region. We also closely with government bodies responsible for regulating international transport, the ministries, the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Economic and Sustainable Development, the Ministry of Infrastructure and Regional Development, and the other ministries. We provide public-private dialogue, identify the challenges in the industries, and submit the hostess topics to relevant government to solve them. And GIRCA is also involved in the digitalization process of the TIR procedures with the participation of other TIR association members and customs administration representative. And now our main topics is to digitalize TIR, so e-TIR, e-CMR, and e-permit issues. Now, GIRCA is co-founder of the Education Research Center, Road Transport Academy. So our priority is education, our transport companies and our drivers, and we provide training for them. And I want to give now floor to Shalva, and he will give us more details about academy activities. Please, Shalva, the floor is yours.
Please.
Thank you, Mr. Mitch. It's a big honor to be here today with you to discuss all those transport issues. And thank you, Professor Nino, for your speech. And so I want to introduce myself. I'm a director of the Road Transport Academy. The training in the Research Center Road Transport Academy has received an international accreditation by the Academy of the International Road Transport Union. After successful accreditation procedures from IRU, it is gained in get accreditation from the Land Transport Agency, which is regulating the activities of the academies in Georgia. After our accreditation procedures, so we have opportunity to prepare the transport managers and drivers in Georgia. So it's very important that it's I would say that it's an extremely important extremely important just now for our land transport sphere. We, in accordance with an order of the Minister of Economy and Sustainable Development of Georgia, the Training and Research Center Road Transport Academy has obligations and also opportunity to prepare the transport managers, transport drivers. I mean, we had a course about how to use the digital tachographs in international carriage of the freight transportation and also passenger transportation. And also we had a course about transportation of the dangerous goods. Dangerous goods, I mean, this for the ADR basic post and the ADR tanks. Just now we have 2 branches in Tbilisi, but we are going to open another branches in the big cities, such we are going to do it in Batumi because it's very big. There is a very big amount of the drivers in Batumi. Approximately we have 6,000-7,000 drivers in Batumi. And the road transport sector industry has a very big problem just now regarding the qualified transport managers and drivers. Even driver shortage problem is a very big issue just now in not only in our countries, I mean, in all over the world. So most of our drivers are trained here, but they are going and migrating in the European countries. So this will be one of the pillar challenge in the near future, even when we are talking about the movement of the cargoes by the land transport from one country to another countries. So to finalize about the information about the Road Transport Academy, we are actively participating in the different kind of scientific events, and also FTA has prepared during these 2 years more than 1,500 drivers. So this was an information what I wanted to very briefly to explain about the Road Transport Academy. So, Professor Nino, if you are not against, so floor is yours.
Thank you. So, Max, so it's our introduction, and we are waiting for your questions.
Thank you.
Please.
Thank you, Professor Nino and Mr. Shalva. This is a very clear introduction about GIRCA, and obviously you play a very important role in the association. I heard that you mentioned about the Road Transport Academy that's based in Batumi. That is a city at the Black Sea, right? We have been to Batumi. It's also a holiday resort center, very beautiful city, and an important city, a port city actually, for Black Sea operations. And could you elaborate a little bit about this Road Transport Academy? As you said, it is newly established, and Mr. Shalva mentioned about 7,000 drivers at the Batumi city, which is a huge size, right? Would you like to elaborate a little bit about the training courses or the certifications, and also what are the new plans in the next 3 to 5 years, right? Thank you.
You know, about the academy, the Shalva has better information as me. So can you continue and answer, Shalva, please? Floor is yours.
Yes, of
again.
course. Yes, of course, sure. So, as I have mentioned, in Batumi, we are going to establish with our colleagues from Turkmenistan to have the joint company, which will serve to train the drivers. Because, as you know, we have as I have mentioned, we have the huge problems regarding the qualification of the drivers. Not only us, also for the Turkmenistan drivers, because when they are using the Georgia as a transit, they need to prepare for them to be trained because of now from the next year, from 2025, we have news from the government that they will start to check the drivers on the roads. So it means that they need to be also prepared. So we are creating here the place where not only the Georgian drivers, also the foreign drivers can access the trainings, and our instructors who will be involved in these trainings. They will prepare also for example, just now what we have the pilot the drivers from the Turkmenistan. So it will be the one example how two countries can achieve one goal, which is about the preparation of the drivers and to have the qualified drivers. As I have also mentioned that we have approximately 7,000 drivers in Batumi, so they are very actively working in the freight transportations because of it is very close to the border of Turkey. So we have many carriage of the cargos because we are economically we are very close to the Turkey, and we have very active cargo moving, from because it take only one day to move from one country to another country and so come back. So we that's why we have many drivers in Batumi, and it's very difficult for them to move in Tbilisi to have the trainings because it takes too much time for them, and expenses also they have. about the training. So we are creating the one place for them where they will come and they will get those service. Such we are talking about trainings of drivers.
Thank you. Thank you. And is this training center open to the drivers from the other countries like Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan?
So just now we are doing this project with Turkmenistan. So if there will be any interest with our colleague countries from Kazakhstan or Uzbekistan, so we are very open and very will be very glad to give them such kind of opportunity to prepare the drivers as well in Georgia. So it is just now under discussion how we can enlarge our business activities, because one topic is to prepare the drivers and another topic is how this country will accept our training. So it is mutual recognition. It is up to countries how we will agree in the next future. So once again, if there will be any interest to become the process very easy to the from drivers from Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, or Kyrgyzstan. So we will be more than glad to help them, to support by our academy, to give them opportunity to prepare their drivers as well in Georgia. And they will be also getting the international diplomas, because as I have mentioned, we have accreditation from IRU, and therefore we are the associated institute for the IRU. So it is very meaningful just now in the region. So it will help for sure to another countries which has no possibility to prepare their drivers to start this process here in Georgia.
Fascinating, fascinating. Now, understanding GIRCA, we'd like to talk a little bit about Georgia, right, as a country. We know that Georgia has actually done amazing progress and accomplishments in the area of transit, trade, transportation, customs modernization. In fact, looking at the international rankings among the Central Asia Regional Economic Cooperation, or CARET, member countries, right? Georgia has always been ranked the best performing in terms of border crossing, corridors, transport efficiency, customs, right? So we'd like to hear your viewpoints about what is the secret sauce that enabled Georgia to achieve such a remarkable results, right, in a relatively short span of time. What did the country do, and what was the contribution, if any, from GIRCA, right, and the transport sector as a whole, right? Give us your view.
So I can say that for trade facilitation during the last 2 decades, Georgia has implemented a cascade of institutional reforms, open its door to the international community. Georgia has a liberal and free market-oriented economic policy, significantly decrease the number of licenses and permissions, and simplify administrative procedures and borders, signed several preferential trade regimes with partners countries, including USA, European Union, China. The country also provides favorable conditions for the export of products. It has free trade agreement with about 45 countries, such as Turkey, Ukraine, CIS countries, the United Kingdom, and China, including the Hong Kong. Upcoming free trade agreement with Korea, Israel, and India, a deep and comprehensive free trade agreement with European Free Trade Association, the generalized system of preferences with the US, Canada, and Japan. So all this helps to make this country open and very important for the trade. And the Georgia trade regimes provide investors with a favorite opportunities also to tax-free access regimes and in major markets, according to the Pan-European Mediterranean Convention. Georgia can treat raw materials imported from Turkey as originated in Georgia, like a diagonal cumulation. And the Georgia reforms is very significant in customs as simplification of border procedures, with greatly facilitate cross-border trade. At present, a single window platform is used to clearance of cargo crossing land borders, including taxation, passport control, and sanitary and phytosanitary services. Georgia Customs' effective use of information system, risk management, and introduction of pre-arrival declaration and post-clearance audit, which significantly expedite the processing at the border crossing point. The system integrated 8 state agencies, which issues about 38 permits that are exchanged electronically with the State Revenue Service. Georgia is also implemented a highly impactful infrastructure project that will significantly also enhance regional trade along the middle corridor, as we call it, TIR. The East-West Highway will be finalized in 225, and this is a main bridge and main chunk in this TIR road, and it's cut the time from 8 to 4.5 hours from Red Bridge to the border crossing point to Turkey in Sarpi, and the Tbilisi-Batumi trip will take about 3.5 hours. So it's a very, very great impact of the infrastructural project. And also Baku-Tbilisi-Kars railways is already operates, and despite the small part of the railway going through Georgia, it's greatly impact the development of connectivity in the region and will contribute to increasing the capacity of our corridor. So I can say
that's a long list of initiatives, and one of the commonly known fact we know is that the land border crossing is very fast in Georgia, right? I have been to Sarpi border point, right, adjacent to Turkey, and also Tisili-Kili, right, adjacent to Azerbaijan. On average, the trucks can pass through 5 to 10 minutes, which is amazing, because in other parts, like in Central Asia, it could take 6 to 10 hours or even days, including the queuing time. In this aspect, how does Georgia achieve this remarkable feat about the very short border crossing time? Is it because of risk management? Is it because of hardware, software, process, right? What is the secret that was used?
Of course, everything together work in good direction. Of course, the risk management system, and one of the most important achievement of our customs is to organize the one-stop shop, and where the tracking stop in one place, and all the procedures are carried out by the customer and not the policy, border policy, and phytosanitary and sanitary and veterinary workers. So everything happened in one place. Even the driver it is not needed for driver to come out from the truck. So it's happened in one place, and the border procedures, the clearance time for cargo is around 4-6 minutes, just for this 4 or 6 minutes, and about 97% of shipment are released through the green corridor, and only 3% of cargo subject to documentary or physical examination. And so it's everything help for the fast clearance service, and it's contributed by Georgia Customs. And that's why the crossing border it is so fast in Georgia. But according to this situation, during these 2 years caused by the war in Ukraine, now there is the reloaded. Our border crossing point are very congested, and so it's a big problem now at our borders.
Yes, amazing.
Anyway, despite this progress in custom procedures. So
Right.
now that's why now our custom authority, the Ministry of Regional Development and Infrastructure, they are planned to build a new border crossing point, the joint border crossing point between Azerbaijan and Georgia, and it's will simplify and improve these problems. We hope this.
Yes, that's definitely the efficiency on the crossing between Azerbaijan and Georgia has a huge bearing on the middle corridor. So, Professor Nino, you mentioned about the Ukraine crisis, and also in the last 2 years, a lot of things have changed, right? So maybe now we zoom out from national to the regional level. How did the events in Ukraine, right, and also recently about the Red Sea crisis, what is the impact on Georgia and the regional corridors? And do you see more congestion? Do you see more shipments diverted to overland, right, across the Black Sea? And what do you think are some of the challenges that you see today? Right. Love to hear your viewpoints on that. Thank you.
Yes, of course, Russian-Ukraine conflict, we have seen tremendous turbulence. It disrupt existing supply chain in the region. And at this moment, we see so many different layers of challenges. But at the same time, you know, the challenges are always also an opportunities for us. And since Russian full-scale invasion, in February, the Middle Corridor initiatives has received renewed attention as an alternative to the Northern Corridor leading through Russia and to the much slower the sea routes. And the Georgian and the Turkey, Azerbaijan, and Kazakhstan also are all hoping to capitalize on this interest, but several challenges, of course, remains before the Middle Corridor route can become competitive. So the main problems is physical infrastructure problems, the railway, the automobile roads, points, the warehouses along the routes, of course, the border crossing points are the main problems. There is not enough capacity of logistics centers, and so everything has a great impact on the competitiveness of this road. Let's talk about hopes and expectations. Middle corridor has some advantages, that it's shorter and is bypassed Russian. And so this is why mostly people are interested in it. And we want that to make it more competitive through Georgia, to have the benefits from it. And it's substantially shorter. So we are talking about saving about 2,500 kilometers. It should take to transport goods from East Asia to Europe about 12 days, while the northern route provide 90 days. So it is hoped that the development or realize of the full potential of this corridor will transform Eurasia trade, will boost regional cooperation and economic development, and integration, and may even solve the conflicts in the region. Maybe it's happened. We have the challenges, but also have big opportunities also.
Yes, indeed. You mentioned about 12 days. If I'm not wrong, it is the container express train from China to different parts in Europe, like Duisburg in Germany. Effectively, they pass through the 5 countries, and it takes only about 12 days compared to a sea route. If it's a ship, right, by ship from Shanghai to Hamburg or the different seaports in Europe, it can take easily 30 to 45 days, right? So there is actually a huge time saving. But as you mentioned, I think there are various issues like the higher costs, and also there's a need for infrastructure upgradations, and also there need to be more streamlined land border crossing procedures. All these are actually very valid. And hopefully with this new interest in the Caspian and Black Sea region, we can see more investment, more attention, and more improvements to attract greater volume.
So, the main problems I wanted to say, you mentioned the seaports, of course, is Kurik and Aktau seaports, it's their capacity. And this corridor, it's requires a huge investments. By some estimates, we see by the estimate of EBRD, which delivered in 2023, it's about 80 billion US investment is needed to make this corridor.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yes, EBRD is estimated that is needed to make this corridor operational. This investment needed everywhere along the route, as I say, and mostly in the Kurik and Aktau port. Not only the infrastructure, the number of vessels in the Caspian Sea and the Black Sea, it's not enough capacity of vessels. It's only 2 vessels operating Black Sea from Poti Batumi to Constanța, and the Bulgaria, Varna, and the Burgas ports. And it's not enough. It's a very huge demand from the side of shippers and carriers. But it's not an easy task, to make it everything. But not an immediate and contemporary process. It's needed time, of course, and as I say, a lot investments.
It is. And definitely, I think digitalization or the infocom
Yeah, sure.
technologies.
Sure.
Yeah, that brings us to the topic
Totally
about
makes sense.
GPS actually. I believe that a lot of road carriers are using GPS for the ease of route tracking, fleet management, right, real-time track and trace. So recently, GIRCA has also implemented and piloted the use of GPS. And could you tell us a little bit more about the efforts in this direction? What kind of benefits do you see, especially in the Georgia context, right? And if you like, maybe you can also describe some of the experiences in the piloting.
So it's a unique instrument for the assess the corridor, and GIRCA is involved in the project of CAREC to measurement monitoring the CAREC corridor, the middle corridor, TIR corridor, and our organization, Shalva is involved in this project, and we start to work with GPS, and we get very fantastic information for it, and we are so exciting. And I want to give the floor to Shalva, and he will share these insights about the GPS with you.
Hi, Shalva. Sorry, I think you are muted.
Thank you, Professor Nino.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Max. I have the chance to speak about the GPS because it is the future. Many companies are using just now the GPS system to monitor their drivers. It is not only the monitoring of the drivers, it is safety and security issues. It is in cost reduction issues. We have the many issues regarding how the GPS can regulate, and for example, customers service to improve the customer service, to improve the environmental impact because it also have a very big influence regarding how to monitor and getting information about eco driving of the vehicle. So it is very interesting, and how we can use an TIR process is very important, and it is very extremely extremely important for this project will be because it gives a very detailed information. It gives an exact information where the drivers are stopping and how many minutes, and it is 100% approximately. We can say that is 100% exact information what we need. So just now I can show you how it works. If you see on my share screen, so we have here, for example, one truck which was moved from Georgia to Kazakhstan. And we have reported here information about this trip, and we can see this number of the vehicle. So it was working during this period. This truck has a stop of 149 because no one even can count and these stops. Even human cannot be able to sign all those stops momentarily. There was a parking time to 11 days. It's 12 days approximately. We have the parkings count in 48. Those parkings are more than 5 minutes, and also information. Even we can see here the average speed in trips and maximum speed in trips. And mileage, how many kilometers has passed this during this trip, this driver? Yes, and we have here very good information regarding the engine hours. How many days the engine was in active? How many days it was in activity of the engine? So, what about TITR? How we can use and what main information we can get from the GPS? Yes, we have here the parkings and stops, and very easily we can find here. For example, I know the Kichar is then very close to the Red Bridge, and we can find here that this driver here, how many stops, even all the trips. Here also we can see how many stops the driver has. Here also we can count the trips. The parking is more than they have spent 5 minutes, and approximately they have stopped here one day, more than one day, 21 hours. And here we can see the Kichar Mukango, for example, and we see that this is the border. And on the border, this driver has spent, so we can see how many times, and even we can zoom and find then this is the Georgian side. For example, it is Red Bridge, and we can find here the information regarding the Georgian side. Here was in 2 stops before and after procedures. And on Azerbaijani side, we have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, approximately 6 of the stops. And this is very interesting to find this kind of gaps, to count the stops and to see why so many stops was here. So this is one example how GPS can be used for the border crossing procedures to count the time. Also here we see after the border procedures how the driver can how many stops it was here, and also we can see in a common picture. And in a common picture, we can see this from Azerbaijan side to Qatar. So we have here even some of stops, and then we have the Kazakhstan side, and we see here that the driver is not using the too much stops, but the stops are on the place of delivery of the cargo. So this is what achievements we can have from the GPS. Otherwise, we have too many information in details, and we can discuss the meanings of the meaning of the GPS in the future. But to summarize, in summary, we can say that GPS provides real-time location data, enabling fleet managers to monitor, not only fleet managers, or also the persons who will be involved in the project, to monitor the movement cargoes from in TIR countries. And so to monitor when vehicles approach, reach, and cross borders. This is very important information, and this helps in managing and coordinating border crossing logistics like a more efficiently. So it is the main idea. It is we are just now making the pilots. We are looking at these movements. Then we have some very meaningful approaches in this, and in the future we will be very glad to share this information to you. So this is what I wanted to mention about using the GPS in the monitoring of this freight transportation process.
Very impressive, and that is really a very visual tool to help GIRCA or any client consignee to see the movements and also the progress of the shipment, right? That's really impressive. So with this, we are coming to the final concluding section, right? We understand GIRCA's organization, its role in transport, transit, and also some of the latest development in the Black Sea region. We have watched also your GPS solution. I'd like to ask Professor Nino first, right? So in conclusion, right, what do you see about this transport sector and also the regional corridors, right, in the next maybe 12 months? And any maybe advice to people who are trying to use this route, right? Please.
First of all, I would like to say that a very important thing that I don't want to see the Georgia only as a transit country. For me, this transport corridor is not just the route bring the goods. I believe that this can be a route to move the ideas, the peoples, of course, the talent peoples, the knowledge, the innovations, the technologies, and of course, the financial flows also, the transaction, the investment in Georgia. I want to see the new factories with new technologies in Georgia, and the people where people should get the innovation knowledge, and it's a main idea for me in this transit corridor. And I think that all countries look at it as an economic corridor also to prosper the economic along this route and along these countries, all the countries. And in this regards, I think that we need a new stage of development, and this new stage is needs to attract more capital in this corridor. We need a big push for attracting private entrepreneurs into this structural project or soft projects, and this is a main my hopes, and I want to see the future of this corridor like this, that all the country are prospects and economically benefits from these corridors. So our government, our country make a lot to advance this corridor, but I think that more we need the more regionalize these processes. A lot of things happen. The ADB, World Bank, USA, CLDP, the all financial institutions are involved to make it operational, the better, but more cooperation among the countries involved in this corridor is needed. So we want to diversification our routes to make it attractive. So we need to work all together.
Indeed. I think that's a very important vision, from overcoming being landlocked to land bridge or land link. Yeah, and it's a memorable vision. It will take a lot of hard work. I think so you mentioned a lot of regional cooperation that's required. Very good points. Mr. Shalva, what about you? What do you see in the next 3 to 5 years and the situation, and any concluding remarks from your side, please?
Thank you. So remarks from my side, I will speak about more regarding the trainings and qualifications, because it is extremely necessary, because we in GIRCA found within GPS when we start the research, we found that one driver, it is an example, was stopping on the one location during the more than 20 hours. And when we start to research why he was stopping here, and it was a surprise when we hear that he was waiting for another driver because he was less qualified. And it is the 20 hours was lost because of the non-qualified drivers. So imagine how trainings are evolving on the process of the carriage of the cargo from one country to another country. So these qualification solutions and problem solutions can be found from the private sectors, because, as I have mentioned, the Georgian government has dedicated this process to the private sector and give this process to the private sector. They are getting an examination, but trainings are up to private sector, and that's why we need more training centers in Georgia to cover. Not only in Georgia, we have in the regional, as Professor Nino has mentioned, the cooperation between the countries to have this equal qualification, the qualified managers, transport drivers, I mean the drivers. It will help to somehow to answer all challenges, all gaps, to solve the all problems what we have about the delay of the cargoes by the reason of the less qualification from the transport managers or transport, I mean the drivers. So in this field, I wish that more investments in the transport sectors to have qualified persons in the transport, and I wish to have more investments to prepare the government or private sector instructors who will be involved in the transport to create such database of those people and to answer also the challenges regarding the migration of the drivers from the third countries to the European countries, because it is a huge problem just now in Europe, or not only in Europe, in different countries. They don't have the drivers enough, so those drivers are moving in European countries, and we are staying here without any drivers, and so this is and what about in second part of this challenges? I can say that we need more scientific approaches, more research to find the gaps in the process of this movement in this region and TIR countries. So and we need to use more sufficient and more instruments, the digital instruments to find new gaps and to find new challenges and to solve those problems. So this is what we see with GIRCA, how we see and what plans we have. We are working on both to solve both problems in Georgia within trainings and with to use the new instruments in research. So thank you once again for your support in this process.
Thank you, Mr. Shalva. And yes, human is always the most important element, and with better capacity building programs, hopefully we can encourage more people into this sector, have more qualified drivers, and ensure safety on the road. So in conclusion, right, thank you, Professor Nino and Mr. Shalva, for your kind and generous time. I think we learned a lot today about the role of GIRCA and also what is being done in Georgia, the regional transport corridor situation. We've seen your GPS, so it's so interesting. And I like the story about the 20 hours delay, where the driver was waiting for another person because he was not well trained. And I think this happens a lot of times because not familiar with the road conditions, not able to navigate correctly and effectively. So on behalf of SCMI, we wish GIRCA a very successful year ahead, and also every success to your newly established training academy, right? And if chance permits, right, one day perhaps we can even visit the new academy at Batumi City, right? So in conclusion, thank you very much, Professor Nino, Mr. Shalva. Really happy to have you, and all the best moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you to invite us. Thank you, Max.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you for the invitation. Thank you.
Thank you.